You know who we're talking about.
You know who
we're talking about.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, I am so excited. This has been a crazy year of fights so far, but we get another incredible UFC pay-per-view. Ladies and gentlemen, UFC 287, Israel Adesanya versus... Oh, wait, no.
Yeah.
No. It's Alex Pereira versus Israel Adesanya because the champ is Alex.
The hunter. The hunted is now the hunter.
So now this one's super exciting. Like now Alex Pereira knocked out Israel Adesanya in the third time they versed each other. They faced each other twice in kickboxing. He kicked his ass then. He's beat him 3 times in a row now. And this man has only had 9 fights in MMA, like in total. Israel Adesanya, people were calling him the 2nd best middleweight champion of all time. And this dude is literally, it's his kryptonite. I mean, one of the funniest things I've ever seen was there was this meme where it was Alex Pereira playing one of those whack-a-mole games. And he was like super into it. And people were just like, what the fuck is going on? Does Israel Adesanya have like the top score or some shit? But like seriously, like onto the technicalities of this fight. We've got 2 serious kickboxers with identical reach, with identical height, who are extremely evenly matched. And this one, like we said before, it's not going to go to the ground for very often. Even though Alex Pereira is being trained by Glover Teixeira, who's got those amazing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu background, one of the best submission grapplers in MMA, I don't think it's going to go there. It's going to be another slog. And how do you think this fight's going to go?
Well, in terms of the ground game, like you're saying, Izzy surprised us because though he tried to shoot for like 1 takedown, I think it was, but he was still controlling him and he was still on his back at one point, which surprised the hell out of me. But look, like you were saying, Pereira's beaten him 3 times, and Izzy on the last fight was winning all 5 rounds. But obviously that doesn't mean shit when you get knocked out.
Oh yeah.
So in terms of skill, yes, Izzy seems to be just better overall in terms of technical side. But Alex Pereira is a big middleweight. Like, look, Izzy's tall for his division. But if he, like we were having this conversation earlier, where if Izzy goes up to light heavyweight, he's just a skinny light heavyweight because everyone's the same height as him. If Alex Pereira goes up to light heavyweight, he's a proper light heavyweight.
Yeah.
He's a big dude on fight night. So this one, honestly, I can't call this one. Even though, I mean, it's very easy to just say, oh, Pereira again for the 4th time. But this is the type of fight between 2 guys who are so skilled that it's like, I don't know. It could go, Izzy could like land the perfect shot, you know? It can, and same with Pereira. It can happen at any time. That O's right hook is destructive. That thing can break a wall. So
it's a crazy fight. But now historically, looking at the way the year has gone, champions going into a trilogy are 0-4 right now.
Wow.
We're looking at Alex Volkanovski and Max Holloway. We're looking at what most recently happened with Aljamain Sterling and Peter Yan, even though that was just 2. We're looking at this last trilogy with Leon Edwards and Kamaru Usman. We're looking at Brandon Moreno versus Davison Figueiredo. Historically, I don't know if this one's going to be good for Israel Adesanya. The way things are going at the moment, it seems like Alex Pereira is going to stay with the belt, and Alex Pereira might be the guy fighting, I don't know, Hamzat.
You think so,
I think it's going to be somebody like that. It's going to be someone ridiculous, somebody we don't expect. It's going to be like Hamzat or something.
Let's be real, that Hamzat against this ginormous man, he'll lose. I'm sorry. But that's a conversation really for...
But we're going to move on.
Yeah, we're going to move on.
Before we get too caught up in that fight, we got to talk about the co-main event. It's going to be Gilbert Burns versus Jorge Masvidal. Street Jesus versus the ADCC Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu 3-time champion.
So I just got to call it straight away. It's a bad night for Jorge Masvidal.
Yeah, it's a terrible night.
Sorry. Look, he's Street Jesus. He's the man, you know. He's always willing to fight and, you know, he's always willing to throw a punch. But Gilbert Burns is just... it's just a specimen of a human being. He is so powerful. Yeah. He is so bulky and big.
Explosive.
He's so explosive. Look at literally what was the recent fight? The Neil Magny fight. Was it Neil Magny or Jeff Neal?
It was Neil Magny.
Neil Magny, yes.
Because Neil Magny's the fighter where if you're a real like top fiver, you finish him so that you can get your confidence back.
Everything that happened in that fight is exactly what we said was going to happen, where Gilbert Burns' strength on the ground is just too much to deal with. And as people like Kamaru Usman, people like Colby have shown us, Masvidal's ground game sucks ass. He has no ground game. He just likes to stand and brawl. And even though Gilbert Burns can do that, I feel like if Gilbert's, he's a smart man, you know. If he starts feeling anything's getting out of hand, he's just gonna take him to the ground. And I don't think Masvidal can do anything to stop him.
Yeah, I think I've noticed with Gilbert Burns after that Kamaru Usman loss, he kind of took on almost.
You mean knockout? You mean fucking sent into the shadow realm?
Okay,
bro.
yes. After he got knocked the fuck out, he kind of started taking on a Marvin Vettori kind of style, where he was a lot more tactical, a lot more mixing in the striking with the grappling. Yeah. Obviously, I'm not talking about that Hamzat fight because that was just a person trying to survive.
Yeah, that was wild, bro.
But if you watch that Neil Magny fight, he wasn't really looking for a finish. He was just getting that guy out.
Yeah, it almost looked like it was just a day's work for him. It was very casual. Even when he got up after the win, it was kind of like he walked off like, okay, can I go home now? Like...
But now here's the thing. Gilbert Burns, I believe, is better than Masvidal in every single place. In striking, in grappling, in the clinch game.
I agree.
At the moment now, really, Masvidal has this fight because he's marketable.
Yep.
He's got big hype, and this is going to be a great payday for Gilbert Burns.
Yep.
But really, I do not see Jorge Masvidal taking this one.
But like you said, Masvidal at this point only shows up for money fights. And if he wins this fight, he can call out Leon Edwards as much as he wants, and it actually makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, isn't it like he's number 11, ranked 11, fighting ranked 3 or 5. So it's
ranked
like...
5.
Jesus, bro.
It's crazy. But it's just because of the Street Jesus BMF name.
Yeah. What's it? The 3 pieces in a soda. That's it. But yeah, moving on. We've got another really interesting fight that I think a lot of people, you know, might be sleeping on, which is Rob Font versus Adrian Yanez for a bantamweight bout. Now, I think this one's a great fight, just in general.
So, Rob Font recently just came back from getting demolished by Chito Vera. Like,
oh, yes.
Yeah, it was, he landed more strikes than Chito, but he got beat up badly. And Adrian Yanez is a guy who's on the rise. He's coming up. He's got amazing wrestling from his classic high school background.
Yeah.
But in addition to that, he's a junior Golden Gloves champion. So his boxing is slick, and he's been getting some incredible KOs on his rise up. He's a guy who was calling out dudes like Sugar Sean O'Malley back when they were both small, but you know Sugar Show, he doesn't fight anybody unless it's for money.
Yeah.
So this fight is really going to be his opportunity to really enter that top 5. And I would love to see a fighter like Adrian Yanez's style against these top dudes like your Corey Sandhagens.
Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying, but you see the bantamweight division right now, the top 5 is so stacked. And even like Rob Font, he's ranked 6. If he wins this fight, it's like, oh, bro, you gotta go fight the big dogs. Like,
gotta go back to work.
Now that Merab has been thrown in there as number 1, the top 5, it's like it's what's it? It's Merab, then it's Sean O'Malley, then it's Peter Yan, then bloody Sandhagen's in there too. It's just a nightmare,
It's
bro.
a murderous row.
Oh.
And Rob Font was a guy who was known as being like a really, really top dude, a southpaw, really technical striking. So I think that's what the UFC is looking for here. It's a matchup of 2 really technical strikers. And we're going to see who's going to be the one who takes this fight. I think this is going to be a really, really dynamic back and forth. But I see Adrian Yanez coming with the W.
Oh, yeah. And if he does, he's definitely calling out top 5. He's going straight for it, you know. Because, I mean, 12-6, he's bumping up a huge point on the top 10.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, no. But moving on.
We've got a welterweight fight between Kelvin Holland and Santiago Ponzinibbio.
Okay, I'm just going to throw this out there right now. This is going to be the most cringy / funny / just awesome fight of the whole night. You've got 2 of the most just memeable people in the cage. It's going to be so... I can picture Santiago just doing backflips and then Kelvin Holland doing backflips over him. And no one's fighting anymore. We're just doing flips. It's gonna be so much fun. Like, that's all I can say. I can just see this as a fun fight.
Yeah, you see, everybody knows Kelvin Holland.
Yeah.
We all know Big Mouth. He had that incredible 5-fight win streak.
It was like in a year as well.
It was back in, I believe, 2020 or...
during COVID season, he made a name for himself, essentially.
During COVID season, he killed it all the way up until that KO with Jacare Souza.
Ooh.
And then they were like, okay, cool, now you're going to fight the big boys. And the big boys wrestled him, and the big boys messed him up.
Big boy wrestler. Big boy wrestler. Big boy wrestler.
Yeah, it was literally Derek Brunson,
Marvin Vettori, and then comes out.
And then Hamza. Come on, guys. That's not fair. But he's recently started to regain some steam in the welterweight division.
Yeah.
And he's going up against Santiago Panzanibio, a dude who, as I said before, he had an incredible streak and then suffered some terrible injuries.
Yeah.
And then he came back in that fight with Li Jianling that a lot of people don't believe he should have won, but he actually did end up winning. And he's been doing quite like win, loss,
on
win,
and off,
loss.
yeah.
He is a very talented striker, a very technical striker. I worry, though, that his style of striking might be a little bit aged in this modern UFC.
Yeah.
I think that time off has really affected him.
Yeah, plus also Kevin Holland has also got decent boxing, and his biggest strength are those long arms.
Yeah.
If he can keep you out of reach, that's all he needs to do sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
But no. Either way, I still think it's going to be... I think this is going to be a funny fight. I feel like I'm going to laugh at least once during this fight. You know what I mean? Whether Kevin Holland's going to say something stupid or Santiago is just going to do something wild. I feel like I'm going to laugh once.
It's going to be something that goes down.
Yeah.
All right. And then our last kind of fight on this main card is Raul Rosas Jr. Versus Christian Rodriguez. We've got the youngest fighter in the UFC at the moment. Guy just finished high school. Yeah. And he's having his third fight in the UFC right now.
No, second official fight. I mean,
second official fight. I'm counting Dana White's Contender Series.
It ain't UFC.
It's not real.
But okay, this fight, look, I'm gonna be honest with you. They've been doing this a lot with all these up and comers. Like, granted, he's different because he's like a legitimate 17, 18-year-old, like a legitimate up and comer. But I don't have a lot of interest in this fight because all these fights are just catered for the new guy.
Yeah.
Paddy the Baddie. When Kamzat showed up, when this kid showed up, they just even Bo Nickel recently.
Yeah.
It kind of just feels like they just feed these strikers so they can grapple them, and it's always just random strikers that. So I'll be honest with you, I don't have much to say about this fight because he's young. Yeah, he's got skills, but you're 18, bro. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
A guy who's been doing this for 5 years more than you, I feel like, or even like a serious guy who's been doing it 5 years more than you, I just feel like he's going to dominate you. If you go up against a serious grappler, I feel like that's when I'm going to start paying attention. But right now, against Christian Rodriguez, who personally I know nothing about, and that's the point. You know what I mean? But hey, good for him.
Yeah, Raul's gonna smush this guy.
Yeah, like his nose.
He's gonna.
Do you think that's how it happened? He just kept smushing himself while grappling people. He's like in the ear. I don't want you. I'm gonna take you down. Shame. I shouldn't say that to someone who can choke me out without even trying. But that's pretty much the main card.
To South Africa.
The main card is.
Okay. That is pretty much the main card.
Yeah.
All right. Going straight on to our prelims right now.
This is surprising. The prelims are stacked.
Yeah, the prelims are really exciting. And I'm going to start off. It's going to be Chris Curtis versus Kelvin Gastelum. Now, Chris Curtis is such an interesting dude because on the internet, he's completely disrespected. On the internet, he's just like, he's a complete loser. Yeah. But he has only ever lost one fight in the UFC and the rest of his wins are via KO. And he only ever lost to Jacko Manson because Jacko Manson kicked him in the stomach and danced around him.
Yeah, and then they swore at each other afterwards.
Yeah.
It was wild. But that's actually so crazy because like when you bring that up, like I always forget that. It's like he's so disrespected on Twitter and the internet. Every time you read his tweets, you think like, this low rank guy is running his mouth again. It's just like that's just not the case.
Guy's got like 4 KOs in the UFC.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think it's him versus Kelvin Gastelum, and there's not much to say about Gastelum at this point. The dude's been around the block. He's fought everyone in the middleweight division that's above him at this point. And at this point, he's had a couple bad runs. The recent injury with all his teeth were bloody, like about to fall out, and he had to get them sewn back on. That was nasty.
And then after that, he had the fucking ringworm in his face.
Oh, it was during
the staph
at the same time. It was all the same time.
Nasty.
Yeah, it was.
Motherfucker doesn't shower after. Oh my gosh, dude.
But yeah, look, he's had a bad run lately, but he's still always a guy who's gonna come in and just fight. And Chris Curtis is the same dude. I mean, look, Chris Curtis trains with Sean Strickland. If they get on so well, I feel like they have to be the simple-minded guys, which is like, I just want to get in there and fuck you up.
What are you trying to say? Sean Strickland isn't a member of the Aryan Brotherhood.
you think he's friends with Chris Curtis just so people get off his back? Hey, I have black friends.
I'm not a fucking racist.
I have black friends, but
But like, on a serious note, Kelvin Gastelum, what is he on? 3 losses in a row?
Yeah, it's something bad, bro. It is. It's
he's
something
on a
bad.
serious losing streak. If he doesn't turn this around against Chris Curtis, I think the UFC gives him one more shot with a complete newcomer. And then it might be time for Bellator.
And I think him at Bellator would be great.
Yeah, he'd be great at Bellator.
I think he'd be great. But yeah, look, I think it's a great fight to close off the prelims. And just in general, I think it's just going to be a banger. That's the only way to describe it, yeah. But yeah, no, moving on. Dude, this whole prelim card could be its own Vegas fight now. Like, wow.
And now, to move on to the last two kind of prelim fights, we've got Michelle Waterson, the Karate Hottie, versus Luana Pinera. Now, the Karate Hottie, I should call her the mommy MILF. Sorry, not the mommy MILF, the martial arts MILF. That's the mom I'd like to... Panda, don't put that in. Don't you put that in the edit. I'm kidding, put it in. So, Michelle Waterson, she's got that classic karate background. Proper veteran of the sport. 18-10 record, has fought everybody, has lost to a lot of them too. She is now on a 3-fight losing streak.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Granted, the second to last one of those was Carla Esparza, the former champion.
Yeah, okay.
So she was still going up against top competition, and she is also 37 years old. So this fight against Luana Pinera, who is 10-1, is really a last-ditch situation.
Definitely.
Yeah, so this is a really interesting fight. Luana won her last fight by disqualification against Randa Marcos.
Oh, really?
It's a little bit spicy.
Yeah.
Michelle Waterson, she's always been known for being very balanced. She's got that good solid stand-up, but she's got a great submission game as well. Has had a lot of subs under her belt. Yeah. So I really want to see her win this fight, but she's going up against a young up-and-comer with a great record from Brazil. And
I also feel like Michelle Waterson, one of her issues was that, like everything you just described was perfect, but one of her issues I always felt was like, when the going got tough, she could just never bring it to the standard that her opponent was. You know what I mean? When the opponent started doing that, like, fuck this, I'm just like, they just said fuck, or balls to the walls, they just start swinging, they just start bringing it. I always just felt like, even though she brought it back, she could never bring it to their level. And it was just, and like you said, this is an opponent who's young and hungry, and she's on a 3-fight losing streak, and she's getting older. Yeah.
As you say, I think it's those adjustments, those little adjustments when the shit is hitting the fan. Yeah. That she just never got into the habit of. And the opening fight of these prelims is going to be Chris Barnett, the Chubby Buddy, versus Chase Sherman. This is a very interesting fight with like two guys who the fans really like. Yeah. But these guys, every single time they fight, they're fighting for their job. Yeah. No, literally. Every single fight. Chase Sherman, he's always basically like win-lose. Yeah. But whenever he wins, it's a knockout.
It's always a highlight. You go, whoa, who's that guy? And you realize he's been here for like 8 years. You just haven't noticed.
Yeah, because he loses to freaking Arlovsky by decision. He loses to like Arlovsky and dudes like Parker Porter. Who the fuck is Parker Porter? So Chris Barnett, he had that incredible spinning wheel kick highlight.
Oh, that saved his job, bro. that saved his job completely. You see how happy he was? That wasn't a man who was happy he won the fight. That was a man who's happy he still got a job and he's still getting paid. Like, oh.
Yeah, you can't be fat and not get finishes in the UFC. Like, look at what happened to that guy. That guy who fought Curtis Blades. I can't even remember his name. That's how bad it is. He was a fat dude who won by decisions. He was on like a 5-fight win streak. He lost 1 fight to Curtis Blades. The UFC just dropped him. They were like, da-da-da. If you're fat, you got to knock people out or else we don't want to see you on our screens. Think about it, dude. All the fat guys you think of, Roy Nelson fucks people up. Derek Lewis fucks people up. Chris Barnett, Tai Tuivasa.
Yeah, you know, okay, we're just...
Bro, you can't be, there ain't no fat grapplers out here. Like, it's dark. That's why I have to tell people body positivity doesn't exist for men. It doesn't fucking happen, bro. You gotta be a beast. You gotta be a demon.
Oh, God.
But yeah, that is our UFC. Oh, shit, sorry. You didn't even get a piece in on this one.
Oh, well, I mean, to be fair, this fight, there's not much to say. Other than, like, these are two veterans of the sport. These are two journeymen, like you said. They fight for their jobs every time. So they're just going to put on a show. Mm-hmm. And I can always just see this as just being a really good show. But, sorry, I did not know Chris Barnett came from Spain. That's pretty
I
interesting.
didn't know Chris Barnett.
You learn
was
something new every
Spanish.
day. Shit, dude.
That nigga seems so American.
His name is Chris Barnett. Like, but anyways,
Oh my gosh.
yeah,
But yeah, thank you guys so much for checking out this episode.
yeah.
Who do you guys think is going to win this fight?
It's gonna be a great card. The whole card is just gonna be fun from start to finish. UFC 287. We cannot wait.
Woo! Check it out.
Woo!